So in my last video, I decided that I was going to try and give all the kids spin-offs, and that idea actually spawned from I wanted to try and mix up the families and see if different families with different kids could give you more interesting stories than what we currently get, or just all news stories. So this is kind of technically the sister to that video, where I'm actually going to now combine the kids with different parents. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and happy holidays. But before we get into the video, guys, please remember I am trying to hit 1,300, maybe 1,400 subscribers by now. I don't know if I'm actually anywhere near either of those numbers, but if you guys could hit that subscribe button, it would be greatly appreciated. So, in case you haven't seen my last video, here's a quick rundown of just who I'm working with. Peter and Lois have Meg, Chris, and Stewie. Joe and Bonnie have Susie and Kevin. Homer and Marge have Bart, Lisa, and Maggie. Bob and Linda have Jean, Louise, and Tina. Stan and Francine have Steve and Haley. Then Roger has Grogu. Cleveland and Donna have Junior, Rollo, and Roberta. Lester and Kendra have Ernie. Hank and Peggy have Bobby. Dale and Nancy / John Redcorn have Joseph. Con and Min have Connie. And as of recording this video, the most current season of King of the Hill has actually had a time skip, so clearly we are going to do this with the pre-time skip version of the kids, because I think that'll just be a little bit better, because I kind of like the kids having their own story in the time skipped newest season of King of the Hill. But then Kif and Amy have Axel, Mandy, and Newt. Hermes and LeBarbara have Dwight, and then the professor has Cubert. So doing the math, each couple is going to get at least 2 kids for the most part, and we are going to start off with Peter and Lois. And I think they would actually benefit from having Haley in their house. Putting a woman like Haley, who isn't afraid to speak out for her beliefs and call people out when they're wrong, against Lois and Peter would actually be very interesting, because Meg very much rarely ever does that. And the intellectual battles against Brian might actually be hilarious, because Brian is an idiot on occasion. But I also think she would need kind of like a foil, someone who can listen but is still going to do their own thing. And I think that person is obviously Bart. I mean, he basically already does this to Lisa, and imagine the trouble he would get into if he's teamed up with Peter, which I kind of would have liked to see during their crossover, but Peter clearly had to be with Homer. But now moving on to Joe and Bonnie, I think they would benefit from having older children around the house, like Axel and Roberta. So while Joe is struggling to relate and actually get Axel to care about anything, Roberta and Bonnie can actually have real conversations. This might actually save their marriage, since Bonnie would have Roberta and she could actually help out with Joe's needs, with him having special needs due to his wheelchair. And it might not be the funniest, but I think it would also be the most practical. But I mean, you could still get into like a lot of just family sitcoms with this group. But now Homer and Marge are actually going to get 3 children. Rollo, because I think it will be fun for him to scare Homer and see what he could get into in Springfield. Then I'm actually going to give them Susie and Mandy. So keeping the same ratio, but aging them down a bit and forcing Homer to move more. Also, Mandy is old enough to help out with the other 2, and that will help Marge around the house. Also, hearing Patrick Stewart talk about The Simpsons would be really funny in my opinion, because famously, he's actually the inside the head voice of Susie. Moving on from them though, Bob and Linda will actually be joined by Bobby and Junior. The 2 of them actually know a lot about food, and having a genuine interest in cooking will only help the restaurant grow. Junior has actually worked in a restaurant, and Bobby knows everything about beef and steak. So they could actually solve restaurant problems, as opposed to the restaurant just being the backdrop for the shenanigans. And yeah, I know I had them together in my last video, but this just works out so well. How could I not do it again? And how come we haven't gotten this pair in the series? Age up Junior, I don't care what you have to do, put him in the next King of the Hill season. Stan, Francine, and I guess Roger are actually not as easy as I thought they would be. I know that I want to give them Kevin. He's older, ex-military, and I think oddly enough, Stan might get him a job at the CIA, giving him more of an outlet for his PTSD. But then what do I do for their second? And as you guys can already tell, because I decided to combine pictures, I'm gonna go with Maggie. Francine has a really strong maternal instincts, so giving her a baby to take care of will almost be perfect. But this is where Roger's adventures will actually come in. He might actually be able to just talk with Maggie, or they can go on adventures together with, whatever shenanigans become of that. But then for Cleveland and Donna, I think they would actually have a pretty good dynamic with Connie and Steve. So Donna is a vice principal at the school, and Connie is a very career orientated, so they are plenty of storylines there. But also inversely, Cleveland is the baseball coach for the school. Clearly, this would take place before the Cleveland show cancellation and the family moving back to Quahog. I see more of the A stories revolving around Connie and Donna, with the two of them navigating the academia side of things. All the while, similarly to Cleveland Jr., Steve actually gets good grades, but is very unathletic, just like Cleveland actually is, and their B plots could revolve around Cleveland trying to get Steve to be more active to live vicariously through him and relive his glory days. Lester and Kendra are actually going to gain 2 children. I'm going to put them with Joseph, Newt, and Grogu. Now, though Lester and Joseph don't have much in common at this point, I think bringing him into the redneck household and having him grow up more like Lester will be pretty interesting, especially when you add in a new baby, especially a green one with one eye that Joseph found along with an oddly shaped gray one. Being true rednecks who found aliens but no one believes them, they end up becoming part of the family and are learning about Earth from a redneck perspective. Also, Grogu has all of Roger's superpowers, but maybe in this series he doesn't know how to use all of those effectively. I think this gives you a large pool to pull from just from all these episodes, just in that, and then you could even throw in like maybe the CIA coming to look for the 2 aliens and they have to pass them off as their own children. And now the next one is actually going to seem mean because I really want to take Hank out of his comfort zone, and the best way to do that, I believe, is for them to have Chris and Dwight. Dwight could be really interested in entrepreneurship, always trying to make a quick buck, which we know Peggy will sort of be on board with, but Hank will be made very uncomfortable with, especially if it's working and challenging his whole worldview. All the while he's struggling with Chris never wanting to leave his room and being obsessed with activities. Then the big wedge between them will be Chris going to him for advice and Hank being extremely uncomfortable and not wanting to open up to actually help Chris, possibly giving him bad and very outdated advice. Dale and Nancy are really easy. I'm going to go ahead and put them with Ernie and Louise. Let's face it, Dale is a conspiracy theorist, an attribute I believe Louise will take full advantage of, and Ernie will pretty much go along with anything, so it would be really easy for Louise to convince him to prank their dad or go on investigations with him to prove some crazy theory. Louise will do everything she can to help Dale go through with the idea, all the while Ernie can actually find evidence of what Dale is looking for, be it real or fake, and Nancy's role will be to either report on their findings, since she is actually a news reporter, or to try and keep the trio from doing what they're planning on doing. Con and Min are staying one-child parents, but Con is finally getting a son in Cubert. Cubert is really smart, but a real smart aleck, so maybe Con could use Cubert's big brain to move up in the world and join higher society, which pretty much seems to be what their family's whole goal in life is. Since Cubert sees himself much the same way, he is, of course, a genius. I think he fits right in with this family dynamic and will be willing to go the next step for Con. But I think you can throw in a plot twist where he actually double crosses Con and Min, and he moves up and they don't, and now they're trying to reconnect. I don't know, it'd be just an interesting little plot twist for me, because I don't think things should work out the way Colin thinks they should work out. Now, Kif and Amy are going to go ahead and get Meg and Tina. I really don't have much of a reason behind this other than these two feel like they need a win. So I'm going to give them the really rich parents. But you know, a couple of socially awkward rich girls can make for some really funny episodes, especially since neither of them are as attractive as Amy is. At least that could be like kind of a perspective that the girls would have. With Amy telling them they're fine just the way they are and kind of proving it to them also they're rich, looks don't matter. But you know, let's play this game. Hermes and LeBarbara are going to go ahead and get Stewie and Jean. And this might be the most out there pairing, but I sort of ran out of children. But once again, it does weirdly work. Hermes is a bureaucrat working for the central bureaucracy, and LeBarbara, well, other than being relatively shallow in her marriage, doesn't really get much development, but she is kind of into voodoo. So I think we lean on those two things, having a genius baby using tech to go up against LeBarbara's beliefs, and with Jean waiting to do some music instead of being a bureaucrat like Hermes, causes just enough drama there to where I think you could get enough episodes out of that for it to be pretty interesting. But finally, we have the professor, and I'm just going to go ahead and put him with Lisa. And yep, once again, really straightforward. You have a mad scientist and his assistant. I'm picturing Lisa wanting to help the planet, and the professor just wanting to do science for the sake of doing science, not wanting to go public with the research he's doing, or he could also just be a straight up mad scientist. Either way, it works for me. I think these two would be great together. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do all of those make sense? Do any of them just straight up not make sense? How would you do it better than me or differently from me? leave all of those comments in the section down below. While you're down there, please remember to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and hit that like button so you guys never miss another video from me. And I will see you guys in the next video.